The thing that has always been the most defining factor in the amount of prestige royalty has, would probably have to be the palace. Kings and queens have always needed their castles, and although we've moved far past the times of knights, the use of castles is still very much a thing. Even countries that don't have a royal family, still have some leftover castles from earlier monarchies. Let's take a look at some amazing royal palaces, that you can find on your travels around the world. Grand Palace. Bangkok, Thailand. The Grand Palace are a complex of buildings at the heart of Bangkok, Thailand. The palace has been the official residence of the kings of Siam since 1782. The king, his court, and his royal government were based on the grounds of the palace until 1925. From the 18th until the 20th century, this was one of the royal residences of Thailand. Now it's just an amazing tourist location, and it just looks amazing with those spires. Topkapi Palace. Istanbul, Turkey. The Topkapi Palace, or the Seraglio, is a large museum in Istanbul, Turkey. In the 15th century, it served as the main residence and administrative headquarters of the Ottoman sultans. Construction began in 1459, ordered by Mehmed the Conqueror, 6 years after the conquest of Constantinople. Originally built as a residence for Sultan Mehmet II, it was the central point of the Ottoman Empire for nearly 400 years. Now you can visit it and revel in the decadence of the 15th–18th century. Palace of Versailles. Versailles, France. The Palace of Versailles was the principal royal residence of France from 1682, under Louis XIV, until the start of the French Revolution in 1789, under Louis XVI. It is located in the department of Yvelines, in the region of Île-de-France, about 20 kilometers southwest of the center of Paris. It's almost impossible to see everything here in a single day. This castle is so big and decadent, that you can only imagine the insane wealth Louis must have had. No wonder he was loathed as much as he was feared. Ahsan Manzil. Dhaka, Bangladesh. Ahsan Manzil was the official residential palace, and seat of the Nawab of Dhaka. Construction was started in 1859 and was completed in 1872. It was constructed in the Indo-Saracenic Revival architecture. Winter Palace. St. Petersburg, Russia. The Winter Palace was the official residence of the Russian emperors from 1732 to 1917. Today, the palace and its precincts form the Hermitage Museum. You've probably seen this one in tons of movies already. The marvelous Winter Palace of Russia is mostly known for its amazing staircase, but the entirety of the building is awe-inspiring too. Imperial Palace. Tokyo, Japan. The Tokyo Imperial Palace is the primary residence of the Emperor of Japan. It is a large park-like area located in the Chiyoda ward of Tokyo and contains buildings including the main palace, the private residences of the imperial family, an archive, museums and administrative offices. Formerly known as Edo Castle, this place isn't as much about the palace, as it is about the amazing nature surrounding it. The entire site is filled with massive stones, trees, rivers, moats and whatever you want to have a lovely day. Mysore Palace. Mysore, India. Mysore Palace is a historical palace, and a royal residence at Mysore in the Indian state of Karnataka. It is the official residence of the Wadiyar dynasty, and the seat of the Kingdom of Mysore. The palace is in the center of Mysore, and faces the Chamundi Hills eastward. Still in the hands of the Wadiyar dynasty, this place is their official residence since its construction in the early 20th century. The architecture and sheer size of this place are nothing short of amazing. Forbidden City. Beijing, China. The Forbidden City is a palace complex in central Beijing, China. The former Chinese imperial palace from the Ming dynasty to the end of the Qing dynasty, it now houses the Palace Museum. The old seat of power of the Ming and Qing dynasties in China, it's now one of the most famous tourist destinations in China. The entire complex is considered to be UNESCO World Heritage, and the traditional Chinese architecture is gorgeous to look at. Penha National Palace. Sintra, Portugal. The Penha Palace is a Romanticist castle in São Pedro de Penaferrum, in the municipality of Sintra, on the Portuguese Riviera. The castle stands on the top of a hill in the Sintra Mountains above the town of Sintra, and on a clear day it can be easily seen from Lisbon, and much of its metropolitan area. One of the few palaces on this list that's actually still used for state business. It's sat high on top of a hill in Sintra and, if weather conditions allow it, it can be easily seen from Lisbon. Neuschwanstein Palace. Bavaria, Germany. Neuschwanstein Castle is a 19th-century Romanesque revival palace on a rugged hill above the village of Hohenschwangau, near Füssen in southwest Bavaria, Germany. The palace was commissioned by Ludwig II of Bavaria as a retreat and in honor of Richard Wagner,